What if everything you've been told about pigeons is wrong? What if the birds people call flying rats are actually one of humanity's oldest and most loyal companions? And what if every pigeon you see on the street is living proof of a forgotten chapter in human history? Walk through almost any major city on Earth, and you'll see them ducking under subway doors, pecking at discarded food, and weaving through crowds on busy sidewalks. To most people, the city pigeon is nothing more than a nuisance, a dirty, disease carrying pest, often dismissed as a flying rat. In fact, in 1966, a New York City park commissioner coined that exact phrase to justify poisoning thousands of them. Ever since, the label has stuck. But the truth is far more surprising. Every pigeon walking through our city today is actually the descendant of a domesticated bird that humans once relied on for survival. To understand this, we have to go back nearly 10,000 years. Every city pigeon descends from a single wild ancestor, the rock dove. Unlike most birds that build nests in trees, rock doves nested on steep, rocky cliffs. That detail changes everything. When early humans began building stone temples, brick homes, and towering structures, pigeons didn't see cities. They saw giant artificial cliffs. They moved in because, to them, our buildings looked exactly like home. Rock doves were also incredibly easy to domesticate. They were gentle, highly adaptable, and reproduced rapidly. Around 5000 BC, civilizations in Mesopotamia and Egypt discovered these birds provided a dependable source of fertilizer, fresh meat, and one extraordinary ability that would reshape human history. A pigeon released hundreds of miles from its home loft can navigate unfamiliar landscapes and return with astonishing accuracy. Scientists believe that they achieve this using a combination of the sun's position, the Earth's magnetic field, and even their sense of smell. Long before telegraphs, telephones, or even the internet, pigeons were humanity's fastest communication system. Julius Caesar used them to carry military messages. Genghis Khan built an empire-wide pigeon relay network. In 1815, banker Nathan Rothschild reportedly learned of Napoleon's defeat at Waterloo before the British government, thanks to a carrier pigeon. But pigeons weren't just messengers, sometimes they became heroes. During both world wars, radio communication often failed. Wires were destroyed, signals were intercepted, soldiers became isolated behind enemy lines. When every method failed, pigeons kept flying. One of the most famous was a pigeon named Cher Ami. In 1918, nearly 200 American soldiers were trapped behind enemy lines while their own artillery mistakenly bombarded their position. Several messenger pigeons had already been shot down. Cher Ami was the last hope. Despite being hit by enemy fire, losing one eye, suffering severe wounds, and nearly losing a leg, the bird continued flying until the message reached the headquarters. The shelling stopped. 194 soldiers survived because one pigeon refused to give up. Cher Ami later received a medal from France for bravery. For thousands of years, people had bred pigeons for communication, food, and companionship, creating thousands of different breeds, including the famous fancy pigeons admired by Charles Darwin. But once they were no longer needed, millions were simply released or abandoned. There was just one problem: they weren't wild anymore. After thousands of years living alongside humans, pigeons had adapted to us. They don't migrate, they don't naturally fear people. Instead, they seek out our towns and cities because that's exactly what we bred them to do. So when you see a pigeon pecking at scraps on the sidewalk, you're not looking at a wild animal invading human space. You're looking at a feral, domesticated animal, the bird equivalent of a stray dog or even a cat. Our skyscrapers resemble the cliffs their ancestors once called home, and our cities provide the food and shelter they have depended on for thousands of years. So the next time you see a pigeon waiting at a crosswalk or perched on a windowsill, remember its story. They aren't invaders in our world. We brought them here. We built cities that became their homes. Then we forgot why we loved them in the first place. They aren't flying rats. They're living reminders of humanity's shared history, and perhaps the most faithful companion we've ever had. If this changed the way you see pigeons, subscribe and share the video with someone who needs a new perspective.